Hello, and welcome to Urban Green, where we spotlight South Sound environmental efforts and showcase different ways to get involved in sustainable living practices. I'm your host, Stacey Ellifrit, and today we're coming to you from the Broadway Farmers Market. This summer edition is starting off with the Urban Learning segment, where we find out more about the city's environmental action plan and how it's working to protect our natural environment while helping to create a more vibrant community.
Taking steps to combat climate change and protecting the environment is a big job, and it's hard to know where to start. Bring in the city's environmental action plan that aims to make a safer, healthier, and more equitable city for those that call Tacoma home.
What the action plan does is distills all of the different policies and plans and goals that the city has to protect the environment and creates some specific goals that we try to reach. So we have 6 areas that we're interested in, and we have goals associated with each one of those areas. And then the action part is that each one of the goals has specific actions we're supposed to take by 2020.
There are almost 70 actions associated with the plan that have then been sorted into 6 areas of sustainability.
The areas that we've selected are buildings and energy, so that's to make sure we're using energy efficiently in clean and environmentally friendly buildings. Transportation, to make sure that our transportation system is equitable to everybody and also does what we can to reduce greenhouse gases. The next is materials management, so that has to do with our waste generation and recycling efforts. Natural systems, which is the trees and the plants, and so a big part of that is making sure that we have enough trees planted and protect them. Air and local food, so we have goals to make sure that we're working towards providing community gardens and making sure that healthy foods are available locally and doing what we can to mitigate air pollution. And the last one is climate change, and so that has goals that are specific to helping reduce our greenhouse gas emissions.
The co-benefits of these environmental actions include improvements to human health, carbon emission reduction, the environment, the economy, and social equity.
There's many co-benefits to every action, and so one example is our urban forestry and our trees as part of the natural system category. Trees are enormously powerful at absorbing and removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, but they also do other things. So they help improve our stormwater quality by filtering rain as it comes down and keeps pollution out of our stormwater system. They provide aesthetic value. There's studies that correlate human health and well-being with the density of trees in their neighborhoods and their access to trees in the neighborhood.
The city is currently 3 years in on the 5-year plan and has many successes.
At this point, we've hit our 2020 target for green infrastructure. We've also hit our target for planting trees in underserved neighborhoods. We've exceeded that. We absolutely crushed our goal of providing solar-generated energy for our buildings. Our goal was a little over 1,000 kilowatts per hour, and we're at over 2,800 at this point.
There is more progress on the horizon. Every year, there are new activities that the plan needs to undertake.
There's a number of things. One, we have a goal of 16 community gardens in the city by 2020. We're currently at 15, up from 14 when we started, but we still have one more to go. We have a lot of tree planting goals as well. One area that's a big concern and a lot of effort is being put into is reducing our waste generation, so that's improving our recycling, reducing the amount of wasted food that we produce, providing recycling to more customers.
There are a number of ways the community can get involved. The plan lists out in each of the categories a number of community actions that can be taken as well.
Just in the short term, I'd leave you with 2 ideas. One, if you go to tacomafoodsaver.org, you will see the program that we have in place to help reduce the amount of food that's wasted in the city. So that's 2 benefits. One, the food gets used, which is important. 2, food is a major source of greenhouse gases as it rots in the landfills, so we don't want to waste it. And 3, using food efficiently saves you money. If you can only do one thing for the environment, plant a tree. There's so many benefits and it's so long lasting, it's the best thing you can do for the environment.
You can find out more by viewing the 2016 Environmental Action Plan and 2018 Progress Report posted on the city site. Up next, the Urban Tabletop segment will take us right here to the Broadway Farmers Market to visit a food vendor that serves South African cuisine.
So I'm Candice Naidu, and this is South African Food Affair. We serve all different types of South African foods from the different regions of South Africa, and today we have 3 different menu items. Our most popular, also our most spicy, is our peri peri chicken. It's a Portuguese chicken created by all the Portuguese colony that we have in South Africa. This is our bobotie. It's a Dutch dish. It's beef that we cook in a fruit chutney. Spices is golden raisins, and we serve it with our apricots and savory rice. It's our non-spicy option. And then we have our Indian curry, which we normally serve in a bread bowl. It's our bunny chow. It's chicken and potatoes that we serve over savory rice with lettuce, onions, cucumbers, and carrots. It is called a bunny chow, but there's no bunny in there. It's actually chicken and potatoes. It's nicknamed from the city that I was born in, Durban, because it was created by the Bunya people, and then kind of for short, we call it the bunny chow. South Africa is known as the Rainbow Nation. It's just a melting pot. This dish, as I said, is Portuguese, this is Dutch, and this is Indian. South Africa has the second largest Indian population, so there's lots of spices in all of our foods. Most of our foods has chilies, and then also we were British colonized, and so we have a lot of meat pies and stuff like that because of the British. And yes, we have tea time too in South Africa at 3 o'clock. So this is our bobotie that is more Dutch, but it also has the English influence of a meat pie. The number one question, it's also pretty funny. People ask me which country in South Africa. So South Africa is a country right at the bottom of Africa, the tip of Africa at the bottom. That's South Africa. It's a country. So yes, that's the number one question. And the number one question about the food, how spicy is spicy, because we have a lot of chilies and spices in all of our food. Super flavorful. We do Tacoma Farmers Market, Tuwalet Farmers Market, so we do a couple farmers markets, and we do all the major events around Washington. We do the Taste of Tacoma, the Bite of Seattle, Ethnic Fest. Our best seller is the peri peri chicken. It's our most popular, also our most spicy. I never say that I have a favorite dish because I don't. I'm the chef and I make everything, so I'd like to think that everything's equally delicious and there's just as much love in every dish. But if I had to choose one to eat right now, it would be the bunny chow because it comes from the city I was born in, Durban.
Come down to the market to find South African Food Affair, a business that wants to introduce these amazing flavors to the rest of the world. After the break, we'll find out more about the Broadway, Point Ruston, and Eastside farmers markets. But first, the Urban Quick Tip will get your grill ready for summer using a natural cleaner. Welcome back. Now we're going to learn more about the Tacoma Farmers Market and how these vibrant marketplaces bring local farms, small businesses, and organizations together to connect directly with the community.
Connecting the community with local goods, the Tacoma Farmers Market offers farm fresh produce and more. 3 vibrant marketplaces are located around the South Sound, with the main, long-running market located in the heart of downtown.
The Broadway Farmers Market is in its 29th year, which is really exciting. If anyone was here 29 years ago, you know what downtown Tacoma looked like. It was started by two women who had a vision of revitalizing downtown through a farmers market to bring community and a safer, more walkable downtown.
Running every Thursday, May through October, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., visitors can enjoy browsing over 60 vendors that the market has each week. Seasoned visitors can always find something new.
We have some new food vendors, which is really exciting. We love to bring new vendors in. We have a lot of folks on Broadway that come up for lunch, so I know people love to see new vendors up here. So we have a new Russian blinchiki vendor up here. It's a Russian crepe, so I think that's really exciting. We have mixed poke, which is just delicious rice, fresh fish, lovely, lovely, wonderful food. We also have some new farms up here, so we really encourage people to come up, grab your lunch, shop for dinner, because we have everything you need at the market.
Programs and services are a big part of the market, proving they are so much more than food and farms, but also a community partner that encourages healthy eating.
We have our Fresh Bucks program, which is an EBT matching program. So anybody who uses food stamps is what EBT is. They can come up, they can swipe their card. We're going to double what they take off that card. So if they buy 10, they're going to walk away with 20 to spend on fresh fruits and vegetables. It's an awesome program that's really helping the community. We also have, thanks to TAPCO Credit Unit, a great program called our Apple a Day program, and that's for kids 16 and under. They can come, get a $1 market token, and buy any fruit or vegetable they'd like.
Other locations that are part of the Tacoma Farmers Market also participate in these programs.
We're in our second year with the Point Ruston Farmers Market. It's really growing this year. It's interesting to see who's coming down there. So we have a mix of local folks and a mix of people coming from outside the community. What we love about that is they get to be introduced to all our small businesses that are down there. So not only our farms, but our kombucha vendors, our bakers, all of those folks are learning about these amazing businesses that are right here in Tacoma. We also have a really great small little neighborhood market on the east side of Tacoma. It's right on 35th and McKinley. We have about 24 vendors over there, and we just love being in that community.
Point Ruston Farmers Market runs Sundays 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the East Side Farmers Market runs Tuesdays 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. These markets make it possible for fresh fruit to be available all around Tacoma during the season.
We also get to highlight farms that are just within 3 miles of downtown Tacoma. We have amazing organic farms. Wild Hair Organic Farm and Zestful Gardens are both here. They drive 3 miles up. So for folks that don't know that we have fresh food coming just 3 miles away, I encourage you to get here and try it.
A community of vendors and staff comes together to hold these weekly markets with people from all over Tacoma. This creates a fun and welcoming environment that encourages visitors to shop local.
Other things we always like to let folks know is that when you come and shop local at the farmers markets, you're really helping us preserve those farms and those open spaces. We want to make sure that we have fresh food that's affordable for our families right here. And so shopping here makes a huge difference in their bottom line. So we encourage you to come on up and give them a try.
For information on market dates and times, as well as programs and services, visit the Tacoma Farmers Market website. Coming up next is the Urban How-To. This do-it-yourself segment gives a demonstration on building your very own rain barrel.
Hi, my name is Dan Borba, and I've been making, selling, and installing rain barrels in Tacoma, Washington since 1999. And today we're going to do a do-it-yourself rain barrel assembly. This right here is a 60-gallon food-grade number 2 plastic container. We have one over here that's a 55-gallon drum that's a closed top, and these are probably the most popular and ones that you run into a lot. These a lot of times you can get these for free, like either Craigslist or just walking around your neighborhood and that kind of thing, to find a repurposed or a used 55-gallon drum. These you're more likely to spend maybe $20 on, 20, 25. There are some good spots to find those. You can even go as far as like a 275-gallon tote, which is the biggest kind of regularly available that I have. It's also good to choose kind of an opaque instead of a transparent color. White can have the effect of like growing a lot of algae, whereas something like this with the orange or a black wouldn't have that effect. So that's something to consider when you're choosing a barrel. 60 gallons is about kind of the average size. So today I'm going to assemble a 60-gallon barrel, and I've done some drilling on it. And actually the only tool you really need with the drilling is a 1.5-inch hole saw. And you might be able to borrow it from your neighbor or pick one up at a hardware store for a few bucks. It's not too expensive. But pretty much this is a drill, and the 1.5-inch hole saw is pretty much what you need. So I've already drilled the cap here on this, and give you guys a quick look at that if you can see it. And that was just with the 1.5-inch hole saw. And then I drilled a hole right at the bottom of the barrel, right here, and that'll be for the spigot. The one hole I'm going to drill is the overflow, and what I do when I drill is to flip the drill into reverse, and I found that it just makes it that much easier. Some of the hole saws, if you've got it in forward, you can really kind of hurt your wrist. So I flip the drill into reverse, and this is for the overflow here. And I've got a pipe that comes up to the top here. So I've kind of measured it a little bit, and what I'll do is just drill that hole. There you go. So that's your hole for the overflow, and so it goes a lot better when you've got the drill in reverse. The parts that I use, and I'll show you these for the overflow. These are the parts that are for the overflow, and they go in the hole we just drilled. But I don't use any glue with that. I just, it kind of fits nicely into there. And this is the first part that goes in. And so when the water gets to the top of the barrel, and you'll be able to see this later, it'll automatically flow down and out. So having this piece on the outside, it'll flow out of here. And then with a regular size hose, you can kind of direct it where you need it to go if it's a standard size hose. And then the two parts for the bottom are another one of the bulkhead fittings. These are great. They're really designed not to leak, and so they should last for a long time. This is a ball valve spigot, and these are nice to have. It's just a non-restrictive flow, but just a quarter turn opens it wide. And since rain barrels are so low pressure, this really helps with that. So these are the parts, and the first part we're going to start with we're going to start assembling the overflow, and this is the piece that goes on the inside. And basically I just unscrew the nut there, and then this thick rubber washers for the inside, and I insert this into the hole I just drilled, and this piece here will be facing the top of the barrel. So I slip that in like this. It's a good overflow. It really helps move the water because they fill up really quickly. So I just tighten them by hand. I don't use any tools with it. And I don't use any glue with this one either. But this one was kind of pre-measured, and I get that right down into there. So you can kind of see right at this level, that's where when the water gets to that level, it'll automatically flow down and out. And then the last piece of the overflow is this, and it's a taped elbow there, and that screws right into here. And again, I just do it by hand. And this is the last part of the overflow, but that'll end up facing the ground. And so when the water gets here, it'll automatically flow out of here, and then you can just screw on a regular hose to that and really direct it where you want it to go. So that's that. And then the next part is for the spigot at the bottom, and this is another one of the bulkhead fittings. And again, I take off the thick nut there, and keep the thick rubber washer on the inside. This is my trade secret here. This is called a tomato stake. And this will go right through the hole at the bottom. Release the bulkhead, and it should pop its head right out of that hole, and then hang on to it, and then that'll screw right into there. So yeah, just nice and easily. Last piece is here with the ball valve spigot, and I put Teflon tape around all of the, the pieces here just to help with that. I wrap it 3 times around, so then this will screw right in. And again, just take your time with this. There's no hurry. Just kind of make sure it's threaded nicely, and just keep turning it by hand. Doesn't have to be super tight. And again, this is a ball valve spigot, so the flow is really good. It's a non-restrictive flow, so just a quarter turn opens it wide. So we're almost there. The next stage here is the ring on the cap for the barrel. And you can see that I drilled some 1.5-inch holes there just with the hole saw. And I use just an aluminum mesh screen on that. It's removable. And the way I make those with the cap, I just place it over the top of just an aluminum mesh screen like this. And so set it right on there. And then I'll just trace around it with a permanent marker, and then cut kind of on the outside of that line. And so that's basically what, that's how you get the screen. And the nice thing is it'll fit kind of snugly in there, and when you need to clean out the screen, it'll catch the roof debris and keep out mosquitoes. You can just take it, rinse it off, put it back on. And then it will screw on like that. And yeah, and just one last thing for this one, you're almost ready. It's just really inexpensive olive oil. Makes these things look really good. So hopefully you guys at home will be able to see the difference just with a little rain barrel polish here, also known as olive oil. I'll just do a little bit of this so you get an idea how that would look. But it gives it a nice look. And you can also paint these too, just with an acrylic paint. A lot of people paint them to match the color of the house. Yeah, that's the assembly for the 60-gallon.
These how-tos were created in partnership with the EnviroHouse Free Workshop Series, designed to support healthy, sustainable homes and gardens. For a full listing of workshops or to visit the EnviroHouse, check out the city site. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Urban Green. I'm Stacey Ellifrit, leaving you with more ways to engage in sustainable practices that are right for your lifestyle.